Let's face it, woke is a word that you've probably heard just one too many times lately. We're all starting to get kind of a little numb. Disney has always been the poster child for this movement, but a couple of things have happened recently that go far, far beyond just plain woke. Lines have been crossed, and this expose may be the most shocking video I've ever made. I'll start with the lesser of the two evils, the season premiere of Doctor Who. We knew going into this it was going to be a 2-season deal with Russell T Davies, both seasons essentially shot at once, so to expect any kind of changes or course correction was never in the cards.
Fuck. Monty Python had the Contractual Obligation album, and this is the Contractual Obligation season of Doctor Who.
I will say, this is by far the most expensive looking Doctor Who parody I have ever seen. The money on screen would probably have funded multiple seasons of classic Who. I feel like there's more money on the screen in this one short hour than 2 hours of Snow White. But the barf of noise in this season premiere just rings hollow, empty. There's a metric shit ton of busyness and pandemonium, but like Shakespeare said, signifying nothing. The characters are all thin archetypes and incredibly lazy ones at that. I'm not going to go into a whole blow-by-blow of the entire episode, we'll be here all day. What I wanted to focus on for this episode was the relationship between the new companion, Belinda Chandra, and her boyfriend, Alan. It starts innocently enough on a park bench during a date when Alan presents her with the romantic gift of naming a star after her. She's immediately ungrateful for the gift, which is our first red flag, and the episode never lets up after that. Every time Belinda is on the screen, they add a new, horrifying layer to this incredibly toxic person. She's argumentative, controlling, impatient, entitled, easily the worst companion the Doctor has ever had, and there have been a few.
Doing a very good job! Don't shush me!
I don't need you to fight my battles, thank you.
You haven't even got the right person!
There's always a doctor standing back while the nurses do all the hard work.
Rachel Zegler on Overdrive.
Actually, that might be an improvement. Let us know in the comments what you think about that. The only redeeming factor of the first season was Ruby, and she's been replaced by a character that goes way beyond just basic girl bossing.
You're not doing a very good job!
As usual, not blaming the actress, just the materials she was given to work with. Belinda gets kidnapped by what looks like robots, kinda ripped off from The Fifth Element, and taken to a planet that's ruled by robots. Most of the time, Belinda is girl-bossing her way through the episode like a bull in a china shop during an earthquake interrupted by a landslide, not even responding authentically to the bizarre circumstances that she suddenly finds herself in.
Apparently I'm the queen of outer space, if you could tell the police.
She's too busy making everything about her.
Exactly. She makes herself the center of everything. For example, once she gets to the planet named after her, she finds herself in the middle of a rebellion between the humans and their robot overlords. After escaping the clutches of the robots, she's in the protection of the Doctor and the rebels in a secret hideout. Now, a normal person would defer to the expertise and wisdom of the people protecting her, since obviously, she doesn't fully grasp all the minutiae and details of everything that's going on. We've all been there. Thrust into some sort of new situation we're unfamiliar with, a normal person would kind of tend to stay quiet. You would watch, you would learn, you would take mental notes. Instead, she makes bold decisions on her own without a care for the repercussions, because that's what girl bosses do. She outright betrays the rebels to the robots. And in real life, that would be a move that would get yourself and your friends killed. But of course, Russell T Davies isn't going to let her have realistic consequences, especially considering this move coincides with the primary main theme of this new run of Doctor Who, which is the Doctor is not the hero of the story. Spoiler alert, once again, he is a bystander in his own show, watching someone else solve the situation while he cries in a corner. So eventually the robots take them to meet the leader.
He looks like Mola.
Right? I can't help but think that that's deliberate, since they've taken shots at other YouTubers before. Anyway, and of course it actually is her ex-boyfriend, Alan, and it's at this point that Belinda utters the true name of the episode.
Planet of the Incels.
Planet of the Incels.
Even though there's only one on this planet?
Right, and that's how you know that they're showing their hand here. Belinda then goes on a rant accusing him of coercive control and behaving essentially exactly how she's been behaving this entire episode.
Because all you you ever did was correct me and tug and huff and roll your eyes.
You're not doing a very good job. Don't shush me.
I don't need you to fight my battles, thank you.
You haven't even got the right person.
There's always a doctor standing back while the nurses do all the hard work.
Gaslighting at its finest. So it's okay if she behaves that way, but not if you've got a twig and berries.
Right you are. Bear in mind, this is not written ironically. It's not like she's destined to learn a lesson and change her ways. What the dog has said is exactly the message being sent. Oh, as a side note, it's at this point in the show that the doctor does the most undoctor-like thing in the entire 62-year history of Doctor Who. He celebrates the death of a being. In this case, Belinda's boyfriend. The real doctor values life in all forms. Doesn't matter if it's evil, like the Daleks. Always be kind. Never be cruel or cowardly. He always gives his adversaries a chance to do the right thing before inevitably forcing him to do what he has to do.
Unless you're a straight white guy.
Apparently so. Then we can dance and cheer as a little robot sweeps up your remains like it's a big effing joke.
Goodbye, Alan.
This place is nuts.
Yes, Queen!
Something is wrong with you people. What the hell has this world come to?
Which brings us to the more offensive thing that happened with Disney Plus. Storytime. Imagine your child wants to go watch Bluey, as they do. They go off to start up Disney Plus, and this is what they see on the splash screen.
Dying for sex? I've got a bad feeling about this.
In the 80s, Disney started Touchstone Pictures. Basically, it was a way for them to distribute more mature content without damaging the family-friendly Disney name. Now, despite having FX and Hulu to funnel this kind of content to, they're showing their hand by blatantly funneling this kind of content directly at your children, not even trying to hide it.
What the deuce is Dying for Sex?
Well, it's based on a true story and a podcast.
Of course, there's always a bloody podcast.
It's the story of a woman diagnosed with breast cancer. Instead of leaning on her husband of 15 years for support, she decides to divorce him and spend her remaining time on Earth sleeping with not one, not five, but nearly 200 men, all sold as empowering.
You're joking? This is on Disney Plus?
In full view of our children. Hey, you know, if a man behaved this way, he'd be canceled, shunned, shamed. The outrage would have lit the internets on fire. And I would be the first to say, yeah, that guy's a piece of shit. That's shitty behavior. The reality is, it's shitty behavior regardless of your gender.
But if a woman behaves like a slag, that's glorified as empowerment?
That's the brand of Kool-Aid being served here. No offense to Kool-Aid. So on one hand, we have a toxic, abrasive, possibly misandrous companion on Doctor Who treats everyone around her like dirt and is no doubt wondering why is she alone. And on the other, a real-life woman who's portrayed as heroic for divorcing her husband to go ride the hot dog carousel. That's just two recent examples of what Disney's been feeding your children and you. That's right, you. The whole idea is that if they constantly inundate you with this kind of gaslighting, it becomes normalized. You become as numb to it as you are to the word woke. It's not enough to pay attention to what your kids are watching. You definitely need to do that. You need to pay really close attention to what you're being fed as well. It's not always just entertainment. Let us know what you think in the comments and stay fresh, cheese bags.